Okay, so air signs, Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. So for intuitive messages, just kind of meditative messages, I saw like a really big tree, and I don't know if that means you need to go out into nature or get some oxygen. I know that's pretty literal for an air sign. But I know some places have some bad air quality right now. Maybe it's just representing that. Just needed to get some good fresh air. I also picked up in a little bit of anxiety and like antsiness, as if like I'm preparing for something, or like getting ready for something, or like you know, when you're like not necessarily starting new, but when you're like gonna go do something and like there's all of that like build up before you do it, kind of like that. I also kept hearing Virgo, so I don't know if you have Virgo in your chart, or if you're dealing with a Virgo, or just because it's Virgo season, I don't know. I also got the sense of like you being blocked off, like not letting too many people in, because I feel like you have been feeling drained very easily. So the more you stay away from people, the easier it is to like conserve your energy. So those are just like intuitive messages. And the cards that I pulled were the first row is your energy, and the second row is outside energy, either people and or things, circumstances that could be affecting you the most. Okay, so for the top row, I got the Ten of Pentacles. Just don't care, let's see it. God, that light is so bad. I'll figure it out. Anyway. Which is a good card. I feel like I always get a good feeling from this card. Not as great as the Ten of Cups has. I always feel really good with that card, which is the next card we got. But the Ten of Pentacles definitely makes me feel like things have come to fruition. There's financial stability. There is clear vision. There is a sense of like what needs to happen next. There is a stable ground. There's 4 pentacles in the ground there, and then not 4, 5 pentacles in the ground, 5 pentacles in the sky, which makes me feel like there's a balance. You know what I mean? There's, you know, stability with finances, but there's also a good look on the future and how to not only maintain those finances, but also possibly create other sources of income, or other opportunities, or just like, but also dreaming, you know, being realistic, but also being a dreamer. With the Ten of Cups here, I feel that like there's just like almost like an ultimate fulfillment, especially like emotionally. She's pouring into the cups are upright, the cups are full, she is content. I get the sense of like rest here too, like things are being met, like self-care is being practiced, and that is like coming full circle, because when you can pour into your own cups, you can pour into other people's cups, and etc., etc. You have just more to give. So I think definitely these two cards are like the, I don't even want to say like the end stage, but like, you know, because 10 is like the end of a cycle, right? So, not that like the 10 of Pentacles means you're at the end of your financial stability, but like, you know, you've made it to the point that you've wanted to make it, you know what I mean? In a sense, you know, you've accomplished what you've wanted to accomplish, and I think that's, you know, with finances, and also like, you know, the emotional and mental stability and security as well here with the 10 of Cups. The Queen of Wands is here in the reverse after the 10 of Cups. And I think I'm hearing like lack of motivation, but I don't necessarily feel as though there is like a lack of motivation. I feel that there's maybe like a direction that needs to be taken that hasn't been taken yet. And maybe that's because there is like almost like a complacency here, because like I said, things are good, right? Like emotionally and financially and physically, like things are good, right? And so although the next steps are clear, like I said earlier with the first card, the steps, the actual steps being taken towards those are not happening yet. And I think that is causing a little bit of like despair, I want to say, like 8 of Cups here in the reverse. Cups are falling over. It's almost like resentment, or when you're like upset with yourself for not like following through with your plans and your ideas and what you want to do or say or have done for yourself. Even, I was going to say the moon looks like it has a face here too. But she's just kind of like looking down. Just like let all the cups kind of like fall in, you know. So I think like just point blank period, not taking any steps is more disappointing here than at least taking some. And I had watched this video earlier from what's her name? Water Star Vibes. She's great. You should definitely go follow her or subscribe to her. She was saying in one of her videos, like, you don't know what direction you need to take, but just try each thing until something finally feels good. If you try something and it doesn't feel good, try the next thing, and you have all these ideas, you know. And I say all that to say that the lack of taking any steps is causing like an inner disruption, and will ultimately affect this first two cards, the 10 of Pentacles and 10 of Cups. So I definitely think that taking any type of steps, no matter the direction or the idea, will be beneficial for the inner critic and the self-confidence for you. Okay, so the bottom row, outside energies and or people affecting you. Got the Herald of Pentacles. which generally means like good news, good message, possibly an opportunity. I almost like, I'm getting the sense of like it being distant, like there's like a call, like a distant call, like there's like a horn here and he's looking like out into the distance here. You can't really see here. So maybe it's from someone you haven't heard from in a while, or maybe it's just seeing somebody do good that you used to know that motivates you or inspires you, or an actual opportunity that is offered to you. And I also think being willing to look at anything as an opportunity too, not just what you think too, because you never know where things will lead you. Let's see. King of Wands in the reverse here. Again, I think there is, because you have the Queen of Wands and the King of Wands here, both in the reverse, one in the top, one in the bottom row. So I think, going back to what I said, there's an outside energy, opportunity, or person coming in that has good news or good opportunity, and either the King of Wands here being like an inner critic, or another outside force like maybe your peers or your family, or even, like I said, yourself, your inner critic, kind of creating disbelief and or uncertainty or fear in your like decisions. Therefore giving you a lack of motivation in which direction to take and whether the offer is good and whether you should, it almost creates like an overthinking, because you're like, well, should I take this? Should I do this? Is this really good? It's like you're skeptical. That's the word I was looking for, skeptical. So be careful of letting too many outside people and or things influence you, because this could be a good opportunity, but somebody around you could be making you feel as though it's not. Or yourself, your inner critic, like I said. Anyways, okay, so the Eight of Pentacles here in the reverse. Don't undermine your hard work or let anyone let you undermine or tell you, don't let yourself undermine your hard work and the things that you've put in. If this new opportunity takes you away from something you've always been doing and something you've been doing for a long time, and that's something that people don't want to see you walk away from, don't think that the work that you've put in there is all lost when you leave. You can still use things that you've learned from a previous job or even like a previous relationship, or even a previous scenario into a next scenario that has nothing to do with the last one, and use it to your advantage. You know what I mean? Like if you are a sales rep and now you want to do something completely different, like you want to I don't know, go into the medical field, right? You're not selling things at that point, but you're still using your skills of like communicating with people and appealing to people and knowing how to talk to people. So those are still like skills that can be transferred over, you know. So don't think that like any of the time and effort and skills that you've put into and gotten out of whatever process, job or relationship, however it applies in your life, don't think that it's wasted. It can all be used like later. It can all be utilized. Like I remember when I was on the top of Mount Juneau, 3,600 feet up, and we ended up on this cliff of, you know, the mountain, like a side cliff, like a little drop off, and we had to literally grab on like blades of grass to climb up. And all I kept thinking in that moment was, I'm so happy that I did rock climbing when I was younger. And who knew, like, that would come in handy, like, later, you know what I mean? But I say all that to say is, you don't know when you've done something that will help you later, you know what I mean? There, even in the job that you have now, can apply even if you're like, okay, well, now I want to go save animals, even though I've been doing this or whatever for how long, you know, whatever it is, something that's, like, completely different. You know, there's still skills that you can utilize that can apply to both jobs. So don't convince yourself that like it was a complete waste of time to put any energy or effort into what you've done before. Whatever, I don't want to say you even had to like give anything up, but a lot of times with like a new opportunity, like I see here in the next card with the Ace of Swords, there is something that you have to give up in order to get something new. So possibly, but like I said, if there is something that you have to give up, just know that the time and effort, don't undermine yourself, don't think that it wasn't worth it. Don't think that there's still probably things that you needed to learn in that process and in that stage and in that cycle of your life. So don't let outside feelings, and outside feelings could even be like not just like outside as in like actual people outside of yourself telling you like, why are you giving up on this, or why are you doing this, or why are you doing that, but I mean like outside forces. And like sometimes you just have like a shitty day and you're super fucking down on yourself, you know, and that's an outside force. That's just like the energy for the day, you know. So try to give yourself self-compassion and understanding in those moments where you're low and you want to look back. Just remind yourself that the things that you've learned in this process can and will be utilized later and have helped you. So, okay, moving on to the Ace of Swords next. There is some clarity or a breakthrough, mental breakthrough, enlightening, being had by you or someone else, either about you or about a perception in general. There's like a ladder here represented on the side of this card, like somebody's taking like steps up the ladder. So perhaps like dots are being connected, like maybe there's like an aha moment, and maybe that's coming from someone else. Like maybe you are reading a book, or you are online and you are scrolling through Twitter or whatever, and you see something and then like, I don't know, something clicks. Or you know how like sometimes your parents can say something to you like 10 times and then one other person says it, and then for some reason that one other person says it and it's like, oh my god, it finally makes sense now. Something like that. or maybe it's just even like a deep moment in where you are looking within inside yourself, or maybe as you're being compassionate to yourself in these times where your self-critic is being either your self-critic, or people outside of you are being difficult and unsupportive of you. You have this clarifying, awakening, aha moment that frees you from this kind of self-pleasing, or not self-pleasing, people-pleasing, and people-serving tendencies and desires and conditioning. Yeah, okay. I don't think I need any clarifiers. I'm not feeling the need for that. Let me see if I get any messages here from the Oracle Fairies. Follow your dreams. What did I say? Yeah. So I definitely feel like, regardless of what your inner critic is saying, what outside forces, what society, what your family, or what anybody's telling you, definitely follow your dreams. Pay attention probably even to your dreams, and look up the meanings behind them. You know, if you can, remember them when you wake up. Because you can really utilize, like I said in these first two cards, the financial stability and the emotional stability you have right now. You can really utilize this if you, I don't want to say project, but if you focus these energies and utilize them in like the right way, and not get too complacent with them that they allow you to stay like stagnant. Like, I know, like, for a lot of people, it's like we've worked like really hard, right, to like get to this point of like financial stability and emotional stability, that we're like, no, it feels good right here, I'm gonna stay right here. But we still have to push ourselves, right? We still have to push ourselves, or else we can lose things if we don't push ourselves. We got to keep pushing ourselves. You know, it's not like when you do healing, it's like everything is okay and you never hurt again. You know, so as good as it does feel, parenting and children. Some of you may have, some of you may have children, and or parents that play a big role in your life, or maybe your ability to follow your dreams. But this card in particular, in the Fairy Oracle deck, talks about, like, the parenting and children card specifically talks about there being a stronger bond and understanding between the mother and the child. Well, I can't say mother, between the parent and the child. So perhaps having some like compassion and understanding between one another is going to create a better energy for you both, but also like interactions as well. Or even just recognizing the importance in maintaining a good parent-child bond. Is helpful in grounding and having self-compassion for ourselves, because I feel like when we feel good as a parent, or we feel good as like a child, like when you know you're being a good daughter, when you know you're being a good mom, there's a sense of like, you feel good about yourself. There's a sense of fulfillment in that. if there's anything else. I mean, your children can teach you things too. Maybe this eye opener comes from your child or your parent. Visualization. This definitely goes along with following your dreams. Because this card talks about literally like what it means, like visualizing like the life you want and how you have always wanted things to be. Focusing on the positive. I get the sense of also like not focusing on the trivial, like keeping the bigger picture in mind. And I think that will help a lot here with the inner critic and the outside negative forces that are trying to steer you in different directions. The clarity is needed though, so you know like which path to take and which one to step into confidently. So creating a boundary with the inner critic and the outside forces, the outside energies, and the people who aren't supportive, all together is essential for this mental breakthrough to happen, for the clarity to happen, for the new perception to be had. Okay. Any other messages from my fairies for air signs here? Libra, Aquarius. Oh. Rise above problems. This card literally indicates that whatever problems you are going through are like already solved, like pretty much. I think there's actually like a problems are solved in here card. But essentially it talks about knowing that this problem will pass, knowing that you have the ability to get through it, and knowing that problems are generally like temporary. I think, like I said earlier, depending on your perception, you know, something can be seen as a problem or it can be seen as an opportunity. And so whatever outside news you receive that either triggers your inner critic or people around you, that in turn make you question your self-worth and what you've put into things. Sorry, I'm just trying to hear the messages clearly. Right, like, okay, so the whatever triggers them or whatever will be, you will have to rely back on, you know, your own compassion and self-worth, and not let these outside energies cloud your mind too much, and putting up those, like I said, putting up those boundaries with the outside energies and your inner critic will be very beneficial to how you perceive any obstacles on this quote-unquote path that you choose. But you can't get clear about that. Like I said, with the Ace of Swords here, you won't gain that clarity until those boundaries are put up, until those outside energies, inner critic, and circumstances can be like looked at differently. Yeah. I think that is all I get for you. If you liked this video, please hit the like button, subscribe. I will try to get the fire and water signs out hopefully tomorrow. We'll try to do like semi-weekly readings. I don't know, you guys let me know. Let me know how if you liked it. Let me know if you have questions. Let me know if it resonated, anything. Positive comments are always helpful. Thank you for taking the time. I hope this was helpful.